Hello, everyone. We're Team Isplay, and we're the team that used Lisp. So while we're getting everything set up, I'm going to start by introducing my team. I'm Elliott Slaughter.
I'm Will George.
And starting running the machines, we've got Robert Gross, Michael Matthew, and Chris McFarland. So we were all working on programming. The four of us were working on programming, and Will was doing most of the modeling for the project. And we've got a couple of other people who helped out. Doug Martin did the voice work, and Chris Gray helped with audio recording. And we also have some original music by Stephen Yuan. Status?
Oh, we should.
So the game concept, we were one of the teams whose game concept changed a lot in the last 24 hours. The original game idea was going to be a platformer. It was going to be partially zero-G, so we were going to have rooms with gravity and rooms without gravity, and you were going to run around and compete in teams to capture a treasure. And the presentation today is more like a fancy tech demo than a game. But we've got the zero-G part, we've got shooting lasers and explosions, so and it is multiplayer.
We should get 2 people.
So can we have 2 people from the audience?
Starting Linux. BIOS provided physical RAM map. Sanitize start. Sanitize fail 0. BIOS dash E 801 0 0 0 0 0 0 dash 0 0 0 0 usable. BIOS dash E 801 0
Okay, so what you see here is the robot model, and he has lasers. He also, if occasionally his eyebrow will wiggle, because there's a little animation in there. There you go.
There's also 2 different kinds of cameras. There's a strafe camera and a free
Welcome to the Linux Kinetic Combat Action Simulator.
Right, and the name of our game is the Linux Simulator. So these doorways that you see in the middle of the level are actually portals. We implemented a portal system, and each of the rooms are separate levels that you're loading. That's mostly thanks to Robert, who did the vast majority of the dynamic collisions in the game right now. We did implement them, but they're not being used in the demo. So that's probably why the player is not the things that we collisions. All of are we do collisions, sphere to triangle collisions, so that we can do all of this fancy walking on. And we can also much more So the game was not tested with alt-tabbing. We did manage to get the game to work with entering and leaving full screen, though. So if you notice, when you first load the game, it starts in a window, and then you press F11 to switch into full screen mode, which takes a little bit since it's reloading all of the graphics.
Starting Linux. BIOS provided physical RAM map. Start. Sample 0 E801 000-0 F0 BIOS E801
So, one thing about this game is that since it's written, it's cross-platform. It runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac. Doing development platforms, order, and so we releasing binaries for this game in case you try it out, which will presumably be on the course website. So there is no victory condition right now, since this is a tech demo. But you're supposed to run around and shoot people. Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes. So Lisp makes it really easy to write really slow code. But once you get to know it, it's not too difficult to write fast code. So we get pretty decent frame rates. The network works fairly well. We can run without lag across the internet. I have a server in Texas that we've been running on. Maybe you should ask the other members in the team. I was the one who knew Lisp coming in. Most of the people learned Lisp, and they didn't have too much trouble, right?
I actually avoided it by just modeling.
Yeah. But Lisp has a really nice OpenGL library, all of the graphics. Okay, well, it's nice after you rewrote it.
Were many bugs I had to solve myself?
We fixed some bugs in various libraries ourselves. But fortunately, those bugs won't be there for the next group that wants to write in Lisp. Anything else?
What were the original victory conditions?
So the original game was going to be a team game where one team's trying to get the treasure and the other team's trying to defend it. And so there was going to be some sort of an objective that you were supposed to get. Yeah.
Was there any design decisions that Lisp made easier, or was there a reason why you chose Lisp?
We chose Lisp because I like it. But Lisp is a fairly nice language in that it balances easy programming and reasonable speed. So it's about as fast as Java, but the code size tends to be more like Python or something like that.
Would all group members have the same answer?
He converted me. I like Lisp now. After how many thousands of lines have I written? All right.
Thank you.